two white guys. Looks like they had two white guys, two white Americans who speak English, Spanish, English. Apparently they're Haitian Americans, but maybe from Florida, South Florida. Maybe there's drug cartels. There's a drug cartel connection or something. These politicians, they use these street gangs, you know. One politician's connected to these street gangs, another politician's connected to these other ones. Now, Ariel Henry is the rightful prime minister of Haiti, not Claude Joseph. Ariel Henry, who was the rightful president, Jovenel Moise, he still had 8 months left on his 5-year term. Go look at the Constitution. He got elected February. He got elected November 2016. He assumed office February 7th, 2017. 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. He still had one, you know, he still had that final year on his 5-year term left. And who is now in power? Who controls Haiti? The old National Assembly. So the Congress, the Parliament, the Congress for Haiti is called the National Assembly, the legislature. The old legislature, they dissolved Parliament. They didn't have any elections, but the old National Assembly, they need to meet together, and then they need to elect an interim president as soon as possible. People are sitting there saying that the Supreme Court judge becomes the president or some shit. That is not true at all. The National Assembly, within 60 days, they convene and they elect the new interim president, an interim president who gets elections established immediately. And hey, Haiti, how about this time? We actually have elections that, you know, matter and that count, and the people that reflect the will of the people. Why don't we have a democracy that functions in Haiti? Instant runoff voting, a referendum, initiative recall, give them all the tools, you know, same-day voter registration, all the things that Americans have and take for granted. So I want to just make sure those main points are known. The National Assembly is going to the National Assembly is going to elect an interim president. So when's the new president going to come? When the National Assembly elects a new president. There's apparently a United Nations emergency meeting. Jovenel Moise, yeah, so Jovenel Moise was the rightful president. He was the legitimate president, and the legitimate and constitutional president of Haiti had not nominated. He didn't nominate Ariel Sharon. He appointed Ariel Sharon. He said Ariel, Sharon, that's Israel, Ariel Henry. So Jovenel Moise was the constitutional president of Haiti, so therefore Ariel Henry is the constitutional prime minister of Haiti, not Claude Joseph. Let's listen to a media report about this. Or not, maybe not.
Of President Jovenel Moise and are hunting for the masterminds behind the assassination. In a televised news briefing, authorities called for calm after hundreds of residents clamored outside a police station in Port-au-Prince where the suspects were being held, shouting, "Burn them," and setting fire to a vehicle they presumed belonged to the assassin. Jovenel Moise and are hunting for the masterminds behind the assassination. Haiti's police said Thursday they have killed or apprehended the suspected killers of President Jovenel Moise and are hunting for the masterminds behind the assassination.
All right, so it looked like it was two white guys. I don't know if they're Haitian Americans, if they were born in Haiti, because essentially only 5% of the population of, maybe less than 5%, maybe 1% of the population, it's, you know, 99% black or so. So, white guy, Jesus Christ, this is awful. This is terrible, you know, public relations. This is awful public relations. Is this somebody, you know, from the government? Is he connected to the goddamn government? Did the U.S. do this shit intentionally? And then if we didn't do it intentionally, let's just give the benefit of the doubt. Okay, it's not the government. It's just some, you know, fucking cartel, drug cartel, some sort of... Okay, so some other kind of shit went down. But this ain't a good fucking look. You know, Jesus Christ, this is the first black republic on the planet. that, are we going to be allowed to go to Haiti anymore? Or, Jesus fucking Christ. And then, hell, maybe the rest of the world might coalesce around Haiti and say, America, you can't do this shit no more. You can't just, kill a fucking country's president. You're not allowed to do that. Wait, what am I saying? That's if we assume that they're not part of the government. If they're not a part of the government, then, okay, then that means they're just going to hate us. And, that's fucking awful. If this is terrible representation. That white motherfucker, he don't fucking speak for me. I don't like this shit. I condemn this shit. I say this fucking bullshit. I think this is disgusting and fucking sick, and I wish Jovenel Moise was still alive. And then they got their damned elections, and Haiti got their shit together, and then, they start kicking ass, taking names, and making money, and what have you. Building houses and hospitals and schools and get some electricity and security. So, Jovenel Moise, I went ahead, November 2016, right, February 7th, 2017, I counted all this up. I already counted this for you. So, I need for people to stop saying that Jovenel Moise is not the legal and constitutional president, because he is. Jovenel Moise, he had 8 months. What are you all talking about? You're listening to the opposition? They're just fucking making up shit. Read the Constitution for yourself. What date was the elections? Read the Constitution for yourself. Look at these numbers and dates, and you tell me if he did his 5 years. He's got 5 years. And if Jovenel Moise wasn't the constitutional president of Haiti, then who was? Was Claude Joseph the president the whole time? We just didn't know it? Now, Claude Joseph is assuming all the power in Haiti right now. Why is he assuming all the fucking power? I think he looks good, and he's doing, what a good, strong leader in his position probably should do. And they're right to call him the interim prime minister, because the new prime minister, they're going to have an exchange of power, and it needs to happen soon, or a power-sharing plan. And it's got to happen sooner. You're going to have a civil war. You're going to have a civil war that's going to rip Haiti in half. And a house divided cannot stand. So, to me, Claude Joseph is an imposter. Claude Joseph is not the prime minister. Ariel Henry is the rightful prime minister, not Claude Joseph. Jovenel Moise ran Haiti by decree, and, constitutional decree. And by constitutional decree, Jovenel Moise said that Ariel Henry is the new prime minister of Haiti. So who the hell is this Claude Joseph? Oh, you're the 6th prime minister. You're the old prime minister. You're the prime minister before the new prime minister. I see. So you have no power. And then Jovenel Moise, he tweets to Ariel Henry for him to organize a brand new government right away. That's what the OAS had suggested for him to do. And now they're saying he wasn't sworn in yet. He wasn't sworn in yet. By who? The Supreme Court judge who died from COVID-19 from the dissolved parliament? Ariel Henry wasn't nominated. He was chosen. He was hand-picked, hand-selected, hand-appointed. It wasn't a goddamn nomination. You don't need a confirmation hearing. He was appointed. He was appointed, which means that he's the prime minister. Fucking swearing in. You know when the swearing in happened was when Jovenel says, hey, Ariel Henry, you want to be the new prime minister? Yeah, you swear? I swear it. Okay, there you go. He swore it when he said, Ariel Henry, you're the new prime minister. Then he tweeted about it and told Ariel Henry to organize himself a coalition government as soon as possible. Hasn't been sworn in yet. Listen to this dumb. He didn't take an oath. He didn't take an oath. Are you sure he didn't take an oath? How the fuck would you know? Because right now, Ariel Henry says he's the prime minister. Ariel Henry says he's the prime minister. So this is forcing some kind of contentious moment. This is forcing some kind of contentious moment. And Ariel Henry's correct. Constitutionally. Let's listen to some more of this report.
In a televised news briefing, authorities called for calm after hundreds of residents clamored outside a police station in Port-au-Prince where the suspects were being held, shouting, "Burn them," and setting fire to a vehicle they presumed belonged to the assassins. One of the suspects seized Thursday is a U.S. citizen, the Washington Post reported.